Hello everyone, our today's topic is water. As we learned last year, we know that there are three states of water, that is solid in the form of ice, liquid in the form of water, gaseous in the form of water vapor. Now quickly give the answers of these questions. What will happen if a spoonful of sugar, sawdust and soil are added to a glass of water? If a spoonful of sugar, sawdust and soil are added to a glass of water, after stirring, sugar will get dissolved into the water while sawdust and soil are not dissolved into the water. They remain as it is into the water. If we keep the glass without any disturbance, then because of low density, sawdust is floating on water while soil remains at the bottom of the glass. You can see in the picture. The answer of this question is sugar gets dissolved while soil sawdust does not get dissolved in the water. Now next question. What is done to make drinking water clean and safe? Boiling is the process which is done to make the water clean and safe so that the microorganisms present in water is killed by the process of boiling. Our next topic is water pollution. When other substances get mixed with water, it becomes impure. Okay? Some of these substances float in the water, so the water looks unclean or muddy. Some substances dissolve in the water and we cannot see them. If the substances that have got mixed with the water are harmful for living things, we say that the water has become polluted. Water pollution happens when toxic substances enter water bodies such as lakes, rivers. You can see in the picture the wastewater of a city or town is collected and let into the water body at a convenient location. The wastewater from residential building as well as from factories and industries contains many kinds of impurities. Some of these dissolve in the water while some are not dissolved in the water. Now you can see in the picture, sewage water can carry microorganisms that spread diseases. Wastewater from industries is more likely to contain poisonous substances. If all this wastewater is let into the water bodies as it is, the water bodies become polluted and that is dangerous. As you can see in the picture, if all these wastewater is let into the water as it is, it can cause threat to an aquatic animal. So, such water cannot be used for drinking or for any other purpose. That is why it is compulsory for factory owners to treat the water before letting it out. Similarly, sewage and other wastewater of towns and cities is processed for purification before letting it into the water. Flowing water of rivers get purified to some extent by natural process. So, before water is supplied to a town or city, it is purified. Next is purification of water. You can see in the picture there is one diagram. In this diagram, you have to take a plastic bottle, tie a clean piece of cloth over its mouth, that red cloth you can see, cut off the base of the bottle, hold the bottle upside down, pour some powdered coal into it, then add fine sand and lastly coarse sand to make 3 different layers inside the bottle as shown in the diagram. Place the bottle on its lower cut-off portion as shown in the figure. Now pour some muddy water containing some rubbish water slowly into the bottle. You can observe the water that flows into the base of bottle, it appears clean. Of course, you have learned that there could be microorganisms in it. So, purification of water is most important. See that figure, it shows how the water gets purified. Now, we learn steps of purification. See your textbook page number 79. Now, in this picture, different steps of purification of water is mentioned. Now, first step is settling. The water from water source is allowed to stand in large tanks. Alum, in Marathi we call it as turti. Alum is also used to help the process of settling. In this process, soil gets settled down in the bottom. Air and next is oxygenation. Air and water are allowed to mix with the help of pumps. This causes oxygen from the air to dissolve in the water. Next is filtration. Water is filtered using filtration machine. Next is chlorination. Chlorine is mixed in the water to kill the germs in it. So these are the steps of purification of water: settling, oxygenation, filtration and chlorination. Next is famine. You can see in the picture there are cracks in the soil. So water evaporates continuously. That is why places where it does not rain for a long time experience drought. At such places, the water level falls in rivers, wells, lakes and dams. Some of these may even go dry. The land also dries up due to the evaporation. Humans and animals suffer from scarcity of water. There is no water for agriculture. This condition is called a famine. A famine is one of the natural disasters. Grain and fodder become scarce during the famine. You may have read about the famine in our state or country or another part of the world. People living there have to face a lot of hardship. Animals and plants in those parts also suffer. The government temporarily moves people and animals from the famine-stricken areas to safe places where they can be provided with water, food grain and fodder. Fodder camps are set up to take care of that domestic animals. See in the picture, there is a fodder camp. You can see in the picture, fodder camps are set up according to government. Now next topic is how to manage the water. To meet the whole year's rain brings us water again and again, but we get rain for only 4 months in a year. If rainwater is not stored, we will not have water for our daily needs after the rains. To meet the whole year's need for water, rainwater must be stopped. When it is stopped, it percolates into the soil. As the groundwater storage increases, trees get water, wells to get enough water, and the land can be cultivated. Now large dams can be built, but they may not be possible in all the places. In that event, the government and the people come together to undertake several works such as building small reservoirs like dams, lakes, counterbunding, stopping the water of the smaller streams by constructing bunds and bandharas. There are smaller reservoirs are there. Now, counterbunding. In some places, wells are dug in river beds to allow water to collect in them. Rainwater falling on the roofs of house is drained into the large tanks placed beside the building. Using all such methods help us to store as much as water as possible. Now, storing rainwater in tanks. It is very important to use water carefully. To stop rainwater from flowing away, to make it seep into the ground or collect in the tanks. taking steps to ensure that rainwater will be available even in the period after the rainy season is called as the water management. You have to always remember water is life. You use it judiciously, very carefully. Now, what we learned from this lesson? When substances that are harmful for living things get mixed with water, it becomes polluted. Before wastewater is let into the water bodies, it is processed in many ways to prevent their pollution. Before the water is supplied to the public, the dissolved undissolved substances in it are separated at the waterworks and the germs in it are destroyed. You can read from your textbook page number 81. Next point is, if it does not rain for a long time, it leads to drought and famine. Famine conditions affect humans as well as animals and plants of that region. Water management means stopping or storing